The University of Memphis men's basketball program is back inside the continental United States after finishing second in the 2024 Maui Invitational. Beat UConn, beat Michigan State, then played Auburn in the title game. That was on Wednesday afternoon after we got off the air. Didn't go so well. Auburn 90, Tigers 76. But Auburn might be the best team in the country. We'll see where the Auburn Tigers are ranked today in the AP poll. There's an argument to be made that they should be number one. I do believe they have the best resume in the country. I'm keeping Kansas at number one, in part because, not in part, entirely, because I've had Kansas number one since April 19th after they added Wisconsin transfer A.J. Storr. And though Auburn has done more in their first 7 games than Kansas has done, it's not like Kansas has done nothing. Kansas has beaten Duke, North Carolina, Michigan State. Auburn has better wins right now, but I just, some Auburn fans are irritated by this, but I'm just not going to move my number one team while it's still undefeated. And some Auburn fans are like, but I thought you said, because I did say on Friday's Eye on College Basketball Pass podcast that Auburn has the best resume in the country. Well, if Auburn has the best resume in the country, why aren't you ranking them number one? Because they just have the best resume in the country, A, because they're great, but B, because they happen to play the games that they play. If Kansas would have played Auburn's schedule, I believe Kansas would also be undefeated with Auburn's schedule. So I'm not going to penalize my preseason number one simply because through 7 games, they haven't had the same schedule as somebody else. We will eventually get to a point in this season and every other season where most of, if not all of the great teams have great wins and a loss or two, and then you can start ranking based on, resumes, which is, I'll get there. But 29 days into this season, we're not there yet. And so I guess one way to illustrate it would be, think of it this way. If you still can't wrap your mind around the idea that Auburn has the best resume, but I'm keeping Kansas number one, you could think of it this way. Imagine if the Boston Celtics just got dropped into college basketball for whatever reason. They just announced in April, hey, the Celtics are going to play college basketball next year. GP, what do you want to do with your top 25 and 1? I say, well, I guess I got to make the Celtics number one. I don't know if college wings are going to be able to hang with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And don't even get me started on Kristaps Porzingis. I guess Boston Celtics are number one. So I'd keep them number one all through the preseason. And then imagine if we were sitting here today, right now, and the Boston Celtics had played Kansas' schedule and won every one of those games exactly the same way Kansas won them. They'd be 7-0, right? You know what that would mean? Auburn, right now, would have a better resume, a better body of work than the Boston Celtics right now. Now, would you tell me that I should drop the Boston Celtics from number one?
No.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
You'd say, well, they're undefeated, and it doesn't matter about the resumes. Like, you had them number one, you think they're the best team, they're still undefeated, you could keep them there, right? Of course. I'm not saying the Kansas Jayhawks are the Boston Celtics, obviously. I'm just saying I'm going to stick with my preseason number one as long as they got a 0 in the loss column. So for me, Kansas is 1, Auburn is 2, and Memphis is 14. I've got Memphis in the top 15 of the top 25 and 1.
Nice.
When the AP poll updates in about an hour or two, I think Memphis will be somewhere in that range, 14 to 20, but definitely in the AP poll. I'd be shocked.
Good. Dude, that'd be so lame if they weren't.
Well,
I know they're 31 at the net right now, but as far as the AP top 25 and who you've beaten and stuff like that, I feel like they have to be in.
I do too. I think when your lone loss is to the number one team at KenPom, and I'll give Memphis credit. Listen, you don't want to lose the game by 14 points, but they were down by 14 points the whole game.
Right.
They didn't let 14 turn into 30.
That's right.
Dude,
when they lined up for the opening tip, I was like, this is going to be tough. Auburn looks like a freaking NBA team, dude. They are huge.
And Jani Broom's terrific.
Yes.
Right now, you could make a reasonable case that Auburn could be number one in the country and Jani Broom could be the National Player of the Year leader. So he is terrific. He was terrific against Memphis. They just got beat, I think, by a better basketball team. It's okay. You know, nobody ever said Memphis is the best basketball team in the country. They just got beat by a better basketball team. One of the best basketball teams in the country on a neutral court.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.